Continuing now with the conversation we've been having this week, the massive increase in food stamp spending, just the latest new normal grooming mentality. Later today, we are told that it will include a massive student loan forgiveness from the President of the United States, even though he doesn't have the power to do that. Billions of dollars given away to a tiny fraction of Americans to benefit those making the decision. The way it's being done is nothing more than buying votes, clearly. I do have a problem with the student loan program, but this is not the answer. I'll get back to that a bit later. But to be clear, here is the general theme. Don't worry. You never have to worry because the government will take care of, well, just about everything. You just need to be a good-mannered victim. And the terrible rich people will be taxed to pay your way. You need food? We have that covered. You can't afford rent? Don't worry about that. We'll make sure you don't have to pay. And the list goes on. No job, no problem. We'll make sure you get government checks bigger and better and more often. That is the plan here. Remember, you will own nothing and you will be happy. That is the refrain from the World Economic Forum of the insidious socialists who believe everything is free, government creates wealth, and government knows everything, both of which are completely false. Government knows what's best for you. But not in the small minds of the twisted socialist devotees who believe Karl Marx and all that followed were somehow heroes. The people that actually believe Robin Hood stealing from others was some sort of a saint. He wasn't. He was just a common thief, stealing from his neighbors without a care in the world and justifying it by claiming to help the poor. This is just another old world fairy tale, but it keeps you pacified and not giving much thought to, well, much of anything. And you see, that's a big part of the plan. Keep them drooling and staring at their devices. They certainly don't want you to think for yourself. Let the device tell you what you're supposed to think. That makes you a danger when you think for yourself. Danger to yourself, to the state, to others. And that is not allowed. So to be clear, there are a few rules we'll need to understand for you to get everything free. From a free education, well, an indoctrination program, disguised as a college degree anyway. Free food, free rent, free public transportation, free everything, except you're not free to criticize anything, because if you do, you certainly don't understand how much you're getting and how it works. But again, there are a few rules you'll need to follow very closely. For example, you'll need to be fully vaccinated against anything we say you do. There will be no exceptions for religious or health exemptions. None. You will need to allow the government to have full unfettered access to your social media account, and they had better adhere to the lessons we have been teaching you, or else. If you're white, you will need to accept without any complaints that you are to blame for just about anything and everything that has ever gone wrong in this world, ever. You will need to accept that it is mankind, and mostly white people again, and frankly mostly American white people, that have exploited the rest of the people around the world and the planet to achieve their selfish goals of capitalism and, God forbid, freedom. Because they are a bunch of self-centered and dangerous fanatics that actually believe white men that created this country were good and virtuous people who created something bigger than themselves, proving beyond the shadow of a doubt that they are white nationalists and therefore racist and therefore a threat to the country. This is all part of the ongoing grooming. What it is, it's ongoing grooming, an ongoing establishment of new normal guidelines that are, as I have been telling you, a long way from normal in any way. Because working for what you have is actually normal. Going to work, taking handouts in whatever form is not how things are supposed to happen. But the dependence on the government is becoming more common, not because of you or the people that actually need help, but because of terrible government policies that are designed to hobble you financially, leave you dependent on the handout, and therefore beholden to any rules they send your way. You either comply or you go hungry. Which brings me to something else. 87,000 IRS agents. That is certainly not normal. But the more people, the new agents that are licensed to kill can bring to their financial needs, the more government dependence they can create. If they can take somebody who's independent financially and hobble them and say the only way you're going to eat is to ask the government, they create more dependence. I mean, honestly, back to where this discussion started, Joe Biden going far beyond his authority to forgive billions of dollars for less than 3% of the American population. Enough Democrats hope to buy them control of Congress for another couple of years. But don't fall for it. Sticking it to the working men and women of America to pay for other people's college educations is not going to make a difference come November. It will, however, be remembered as just another part of the transition in America to full-blown socialist policies that will bankrupt this country financially and morally if they're not stopped in the very near future. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. Meanwhile, over on MSNBC, the sobering truth. The Inflation Reduction Act, what a euphemism, will do almost nothing to reduce inflation, and student loan debt elimination will actually destroy any savings. Don't believe me? Believe the folks on the left. Listen.
Well, so the Inflation Reduction Act saves maybe $300 billion in the first 10 years. If we do cancel $10,000 of debt and just extend the pause a few months, we're going to be at about that much in terms of new costs. So all the deficit reduction is going to be wiped out. At the same time, we're probably going to do more to increase inflation from debt cancellation than any inflation reduction from the Inflation Reduction Act.
All the money is blown. All the money is blown. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? It truly is. Then the truth. Giving people more money and forgiving debt will throw gas on the inflation fire. Don't forget about that part. Inflation. If Joe Biden goes through with what we're told he's going to, which he doesn't have the authority to do, he's going to do anyway, later today, it'll ratchet up inflation. Listen.
Yeah, that's sort of the catch-22 of this all. We could send everybody another round of checks to pay for their inflation costs, but that would actually make inflation worse. What we need to do now is get inflation under control. One of the easiest ways to do that is to ask people to start paying back the debt they already owe, to start making the principal payments that they already agreed to. And by the way, while not everybody that has student debt is rich, disproportionately, student debt is being held by people that have advanced degrees and pretty good income, and they can bear it a lot more than everyday Americans that are seeing the cost of their gasoline and clothing go up.
Yeah. The price of everything goes up. But again, it's about buying votes, buying control, controlling you. That's where we are. That's what's happening. I'm going to take a quick break here on the Steve Gruber Show. Good to have you on board.